What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. This time we're going to be doing the Manchester City latest news. I'm going to talk about these financial fair play things in a moment. We're just going to talk about all the other latest news with Manchester City. So we're going to crack on with that. Now, there's been rumours floating around that the CFG, the City Football Group, they're looking to try and bring in an Indian team into the City Football Group. Ferran Soriano, who's in charge of the City Football Group, he's confirmed that they do want an Indian club in by the end of the year. So we have brands based literally just about everywhere in the world. The sun will never set in the CFG. Now, Manchester City, there was a fan that was put into an induced coma after the away match against Schalke, with them disgusting scenes where someone was punched and it all got a little bit ugly. Anyway, he's put into an induced coma. Thankfully, that fan's making a recovery. He's out of an induced coma and he's set to come home at some point, possibly this week or next week, which I think is fantastic news. So speedy recovery to that blue, and hopefully Manchester City can give some kind of goodwill gesture to the fan and the family that were hurt by this whole incident. And hopefully then more can be done about fan protection, particularly when travelling abroad. Aymeric Laporte, he's training again with Manchester City. He's in contention for tonight's game, which is good news. Hopefully he won't be rushed back too much. We don't want a long-term injury, but this has come about because Vincent Kompany's now picked up an injury. And speaking of Vincent Kompany, he's announced that he's got a testimonial which will take place on Wednesday, the 11th of September, during the international break. Not too sure why it's not at the weekend, but there we go. But all proceeds, they're going to go to Vincent Kompany's and Andy Burnham, who's the Mayor of Manchester's charity, which is called Tackle for Manchester. They're looking to try and tackle rough sleeping and homelessness in Manchester. So all proceeds going to a good cause. Now, some good news. Pep Guardiola, he has won the Premier League Manager of the Month for February, which is well deserved. Sergio Aguero has been named the Player of the Month for February, so well done to both of them. And Oleksandr Zinchenko, he was named the Etihad Player of the Month, which is Man City's own Player of the Month. So well done to Oleksandr, well done to Sergio, and well done to Pep on their awards. Now, there's been some reports from the Manchester Evening News. They're saying that some investors are looking to try and build a 20,000-seater capacity arena next to the Etihad Campus. They want to rival that of the Manchester Arena in Manchester City Centre, which holds 21,000 people. Now, bosses for the City of Manchester, they say that there is demand and a capacity to have a second large arena in the City of Manchester. London's got plenty of arenas, so they said Manchester's big enough to have their own arena, so it's something that they could look at. Now, the Etihad Campus would make sense to put something there because they've got plenty of land to be able to build an arena on, and they're always looking for more demand. Apparently, the rumours are they want some kind of cinema complex at the Etihad Campus. They're looking at a hotel. I've gone in more detail on my stadium tour video. If you just click on my channel, it'll be the first video you see. I did a stadium tour. Towards the end of that video, I spoke more in detail about that hotel and where it'll go, and they're also looking at food and drinking outlets too. I'd be surprised if they're not looking at possibly a retail park or shops too, but plenty of exciting times for the Etihad Campus. So any construction and development on that, I will be here to bring it to you first. Now, Man City were in Premier League action. We beat Watford 3-1 thanks to a Raheem Sterling 13-minute hat-trick. However, Liverpool also won 4-2 at home to Burnley. It means now with 8 games to go, Liverpool are sitting 1 point behind us. We've got 7 goal difference on them. However, City are in FA Cup action this weekend against Swansea, so our match with Manchester United has been moved to the end of April. It means Liverpool are going to be playing because they're out of the FA Cup along with Fulham, so they've got Fulham away with a tricky tie going to London. So we'll wait and see. Liverpool's away form hasn't been too great, to say the least, in 2019. Liverpool needing to pick up a win and put us under pressure. Like I said, they're always going to have that extra game on us right through to the end of April. So it's all about pressure. Liverpool blow this, City could face a situation where we're still first and having a game in hand and a better goal difference. If they lose, we could even have an extra point on them too. So it's a poignant part of the season. We, of course, face Fulham away after the international break, which is when our next Premier League game will be. Now, there's been some rumours going around about Pep Guardiola. He was linked with Juventus. That's all been quashed by Pep himself. He said that he's got 2 more years left at Manchester City. His contract's up in 2021. He's open to extending for another year. The Telegraph have been reporting, however, that he could well have another year on top of that, so he may well have a potential 4 more years of Pep Guardiola, which I think is fantastic news. The longer he stays at Manchester City, the better. I think he's a wonderful manager, and I think we're extremely lucky to have him, so for as long as we've got him, we should all appreciate him. Now, lastly, Manchester City earlier this morning released a statement with the ongoing investigations that's been going on since 2016 with regards to 2 victims who were sexually assaulted, and things were happening in terms of them football coaches that were sent to prison and things were happening, and Manchester City were caught up in it and were part of it. There's other clubs that have covered this up. Manchester City haven't. They've started the redress scheme where they're going to give compensation to the victims and help support the 2 victims at Manchester City. So that's good news. I've seen some fans being unhappy about this, saying that City are doing this as a goodwill gesture to try and hide financial fair play investigations, which I'm going to talk about now. Now, UEFA, they've officially opened up investigations into Manchester City's potential financial fair play violations. City have released a statement saying that they welcome these investigations so that they can finally clear their name and move on. The Premier League have also announced that thanks to 12 teams complaining, Liverpool apparently one of them, there was rumours that they were leading this investigation. I don't know how accurate that is though, that they're going to be investigating us for financial fair play violations potentially, and also investigating our third-party ownerships and also Manchester City's youth recruitment. I'm certain from the end of this we're going to get some kind of transfer ban. That will come from FIFA, I think, though, rather than the Premier League. Now, we're going to talk about this financial fair play. This is all in terms of these Football League documents that we spoke about a couple of months ago. Manchester City apparently were lying on their financial accounts all the way back from, I think, 2014 when they were fined. Manchester City at the time weren't happy about financial fair play. They wanted to take it to court. However, UEFA's president at the time negotiated with Manchester City by saying that they'll give them a fine. They won't be given a Champions League ban or any other kind of ban. Just pay the fine and then we can move on, because UEFA weren't sure if financial fair play had held up in court. So City paid the fine, which was then distributed amongst all the other clubs who already have money. I found that decision ludicrous. Now, in terms of financial fair play, they're claiming that Manchester City are using sponsors to be able to pump more money into the club. Now, they're stopping Manchester City from investing in our club, which again I find quite ludicrous. I'm surprised City's never challenged this, but there we go. They might do from the end of all this if Manchester City end up facing no action from the investigations, or if they end up facing action, they might appeal it and it might get dragged out through the court. But the indication I was getting is that Manchester City, UEFA, feel like potentially that they've been using their sponsors such as Etihad Airways, who are based in Abu Dhabi, that our owner, who's also based in Abu Dhabi with the Abu Dhabi United Group, Sheikh Mansour, is that he's putting money into both Etihad Airways and into Manchester City, and is using them, Etihad Airways, by giving us bigger sponsors to move and pump money into Manchester City. I think also our Etisalat sponsorship, a couple of other sponsorships including the Nissan deal, might be getting investigated too. So they want to put financial restrictions on Manchester City. There's been calls that Manchester City might get a large fine from all this and that it'd be ludicrous. There might be points deductions for Manchester City in the Premier League. They might be chucked out of the Premier League. They might be banned from Europe. There's all kinds of ugly scenes. At the moment we don't know any facts, and whilst there's no facts, there's not really a lot to answer to. Some people are unhappy with Man City's cagey responses to this. Man City basically haven't said anything. The UEFA's asked for documents. Man City said, we've already given you all the documents for financial fair play. We've released our figures. You fined us for them. You've got all our documents. We've got nothing else to give. UEFA's continually asked for more and more information that Manchester City simply do not have. So they've had to open up investigations to see if they can go and access these documents. Whether they're going to get access to Etihad Airways documents and Nissan's, for example, remains to be seen. That may well go to court. So it could all get quite ugly, all of this. So these investigations might take some time. But that's, as far as I'm concerned, is where we're at. I don't like the timing of all this. The complaint, particularly from the Premier League, gone in just before Manchester City were set to play. They've waited until Manchester City were top of the league and doing well before these investigations have gone into place. A lot of fans are unhappy. They feel like there's a lot of bias agenda against Manchester City, and I feel like people have a point. But the problem with all of this media agenda going on against Manchester City, all media have bias in them, and so they're all going to back whichever club that they wish. Now, a lot of the media want to back the big football teams, so Liverpool and Manchester United in particular in England, because they're the two most well-supported clubs around the world, and these journalists back them even though they might not be supporters of these clubs, because they know they're going to get the most clicks, they're going to know they're going to get the most reactions, the most responses from these clubs, and so they're always going to try and look good to make them want to click and view their garbage, basically, that they're typing, whereas Manchester City don't have that influence, not yet, and they probably won't do for, what, 20, 30 years, so we don't have that bias there in the media, and a lot of Man City fans feel like they want to shout and have their voices heard. Well, that's kind of why I'm here on the Manchester City YouTube scene. A good way of distributing videos and information is by using YouTube, and you can use that as a media outlet, and know that if you wanted to, with Manchester City fans, that I like to think that I'm quite unbiased towards everything. I want to give an open view on everything, and I want everything to be fair and also be able to back the voices of Manchester City, so I'm one voice that you can listen to, and so from there I feel like people feel like they're not having their voices heard, and there's a load of bias in the media from there. This is all got to do with financial fair play. It's all a bit strange and it's all a bit ludicrous. What I will say on a final note on financial fair play, until we have more information, I won't be discussing this in Manchester City's latest news, probably until the conclusion of these investigations, whatever the result may be. Now, one last note for these financial fair play regulations with Manchester City is I just wanted to say that if Manchester City are guilty, and we have lied on our figures, and we have been pumping money into ourselves, and it has been illegal, then we rightfully should face punishment, whatever that punishment may be. Now, if we haven't, and this is all doing to damage our reputation, and we get investigated and it's cleared, I think that Manchester City should push the issue further by pressing charges against some of the news establishments that's published these fake documents, if they are turning out to be fake, damaging our reputation. A lot of people now think that Manchester City financially flex their muscle and cheat, which, like I said, if the investigations are cleared, isn't the case, and it's damaging our reputation and damaging our brand and costing us potential sponsorship deals, because other sponsors might feel like they don't want to invest in a club that's going to be investigated all the time, and it's costing us money and it's costing us branding deals, which I'm not sure if that's UEFA's aim or not, probably is, but it helps. It doesn't help with the current poison that's going on between Manchester City Football Club and UEFA. We're of course in Champions League action tonight, and I imagine the booing of the anthem will be louder than ever, but if you watch my previous videos, you'll know why Manchester City boo them, and if you actually understood the situation, you would boo it too. So that's the situation we're in. It's just biased media again going against Manchester City. But like I said, I'm the voice and ears for Manchester City, so I want to be the person that can able to distribute information and media for Manchester City fans that is based for Manchester City fans, not for anyone else to be able to interpretate it. So there we go. So there we go. It's been the video. Sorry it's been such a long video with discussing financial fair play regulations, but there we go. We have to cover it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you want to stay in the loop with all Manchester City news and Manchester City videos and the latest with these investigations. Make sure you subscribe, press the bell and put your push notifications on. Social media links in the description below, and I'll see you all again for the next video. So it's been JSGC. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.